What's up, you guys? It's Ben, and welcome back to my channel where we talk about everything there is relating to selling on Amazon. Matter of fact, let's scratch that. In today's video, we're not going to be talking about that. Given at the end of the day, guys, we are all here for the same reason, and that is to simply make money. It is basically for us to leave our 9-to-5 jobs, leave us working for somebody else, and actually do something for ourselves. And the truth of the matter of fact is, guys, is that there's so many ways out there to make money. It's not just Amazon FBA, and that is exactly what I want to talk to you about today. So in today's video, what I wanted to do is bring my good friend Kriyesh, who has been trading on Forex now for quite a few years, and a matter of fact, I had very successfully. I want to talk to him about his field of expertise, what he is up to, and also speak a little bit more about Kryptos investing and so on. So in today's video, what we're going to do is talk about a little bit about where is Forex coming from, how do you get started, and so on, and also go into detail. Is this particular business model, so to speak, of trading, is it better than what we do on a daily basis, which is Amazon FBA? So I think we should get started. So kind of introduce yourself, Kriyesh, to begin with. How did you get started? Tell me a little bit of background.
Hi guys, so my name is Priyesh Jasara and I am the founder and owner of FX Trading. Now, the company came about 4 years ago, but I've been trading and investing for just over 8 years now. So actually into my 9th year now. So quite a while. But I was obviously investing first, and then I was trading after. So I wasn't trading for the whole 9 years. I was more of an investor. And how I got involved with everything was actually through my mother. So I'm 35 years old, and for a lot of people that don't know, I also go by the alias name of Strikey, because when I was younger, I was a recording artist, and that is what I was doing for a living. And in my mid-20s, I decided to chuck in the towel, give it all up, and then walk away from something that I was really fond of. What people don't realize is the music industry isn't what people actually perceive it to actually be. And music I loved, the business I hated. And so it was a heart-wrenching decision, but I knew it was the one that I had to make. Then I didn't really know what I wanted to do in life, so I became a store manager in Tesco's, and then I kind of rode that journey. And at the same time, I'd made some money from music, and so my mother had advised me, Priyesh, I'm going to open up an investment account for you under your name and just put a little bit of money into Walmart. And Walmart is obviously the mother company of Asda, for those of you in the UK. And so I did. So I put some money into Walmart. And then a few years later, I wanted the money for a house deposit. And I asked for the money back. I said, I don't need it. And then she said, look, it's your money, go and withdraw. When I went to withdraw it, I was shocked at the amount that actually there was there. And so that was the first time I thought, what's this? And I never really knew anything about investing or anything. And I actually didn't really know what my mom was doing or anyone was doing in regards to that. But it begged me to ask the first question, what was this and how did it happen? Because I thought maybe there was some sort of error or something like that. Or actually it was mom's, but it wasn't. And so she explained to me, and she told me to keep an eye on a couple of other companies, like Barclays and Lloyd's TSB, and we know them as one to one, but they're EE now. Do you remember?
Yep.
And so a lot of these other little companies told me to just keep an eye on, and so I did. And that's kind of where my love for investing kind of came into everything. So that was the investing side. And then I kind of got into the trading side when I realized that I wanted income now. Because for investing, sometimes it takes a year, 2 years, 3 years to mature. So it takes a while.
Longer than that sometimes.
And so I wanted to earn now. And that's where I kind of learned how to trade, but not learn from books, not learn from a mentor, not learn from someone's interpretation by reading a book or online. I learned from the people that actually created what I actually teach. For example, Candlesticks was created by a guy called Mr. Homer, and it was Steve Neeson who actually spent time with him, researched, and then created a book based off his research. So that's what I read. I studied what Leonardo Fibonacci done, and so on. And so I managed to study from the horse's mouth of the people that actually created it, and that's where my fascination really grew. And then
It all went from there.
No, but then it got a little dark because again, people think it's hunky dory. You're trading, you're living, but only you live the way you live,
Yep.
right? Only you live the way you live. All your friends and family, everyone's in 9 to 5s. So how many holidays can you go on your own? How many times can you go restaurants, cinema, everything else on your own, right? Because you just live differently.
Yep.
And then for me, I started to become a little bit lonely, you know, very similar to how I felt during my music career, actually, very lonely. And a lot of people don't know that. They think that money solves everyone's problems and then you're going to be happy for the rest of your life. And
Yeah.
that just isn't the case. And so, again, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And then mom advised if I can help someone in their life in a positive way, then I'm doing my job. And so then I asked, no, I suggested, I said, what if I try and teach people how to actually do what I do? Then maybe I'll have a few friends who kind of have the same mentality and the mindset I have.
Yep.
That's it. And so the P is for Priyash. I was born on December the 8th. My first friends/students were in Covent Garden, and then the rest is history.
Wow, that's very interesting. Now, looking back, because I really like the fact that your parents were partly involved as to you getting into investment trading and so on and so forth. For me personally, from my own experience, my parents come from this sort of background. If you want to make money, you have to work hard, and it's blood, sweat, and tears that will make you, the life that you want, so to speak. So they were very skeptical when it comes to Amazon FBA. Like, what are you doing, buying something from China, paying somebody that you don't even know, and so on and so forth. It sounds like your parents were a little bit more supportive, I guess, given that they invested for you in the very beginning. What was their attitude towards you, trading and investing and so on?
I think there's a few things here now. When earlier on in my music career,
Right.
for someone like myself, the general stereotype is you've got to be a doctor, lawyer,
Yeah.
dentist, something along the lines
Yeah.
of that, right? And I went on and studied music and sound design technology. So it was totally different from what I technically should be studying or doing. And then it was when I was creating my first album, it was at that moment where even my parents were the same. They was like, you need to go out, get a job, you need to earn for a living, that's how you're gonna succeed in life. The general stereotype,
Yeah.
university, wearing the suit, got the job, right?
Yeah.
And I would always go to a recording studio, I'd come back very late. And my parents, at the time, they didn't believe me. They thought I was messing around with girls or the general, I was up to mischief with the police. And that's why I was coming back at stupid times at night. They didn't actually realize I was in a recording studio recording. And then when your album was about to get released, they will send you your first press copy to you, right? And so it came to my parents' home. My dad actually opened it and actually saw the physical album. And it was at that moment is when actually they believed me. That actually, and it was actually more my father than my mother. My mother quite actually very supportive and believed me, but my dad was the typical African male, and so I don't believe it till I see it.
Yeah.
And then when he got it, that's when he became a believer.
Yeah.
So that was that. And because I guess of that whole journey, my parents were a lot more supportive and allowing of me to do what I wanted creatively. And so that's why when I started to do trading and I started to go down this field, they were very supportive because they trusted in me that I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
And when it came to my parents supporting me and kind of pushing me down that line, when I was younger, they set up accounts in my name. Just, what you do for your children. You set up children's accounts and then you can put a little bit of money into that. And that's what they were doing. So I had a little idea of that and what they were doing. And then it kind of just went from there. And it was more my mother over my father. My father was very much just like what you explained, very much the go and work and everything. But my mother was the one who kind of did that, but then also had hands in different pies.
Yeah, no, that's really, really interesting. The second point that you made that I completely agree with, and I, to be honest, see it myself even right now, is the fact that whenever you choose a path that's not the ordinary, that's not the norm, i.e. go to university, school, and so on, when you choose potentially going to music or potentially going to trading, investing and stuff, you do tend to alienate yourself from other people, you become quite lonely. And the same thing happens with Amazon FBA because people don't understand. Maybe some of them are skeptical and stuff. You tend to be by yourself quite frequently. And this is where a lot of my students are as well, because a lot of people surrounding them, even though they want the best for them, they can be quite skeptical. Why do you think that is the case? Why is it the kind of the path to success, the path to something good, effectively, is loneliness, so to speak, a lot of the time?
So there's two things there, Benas.
Right.
The first thing is that many people they try trading or they try Amazon.
Yeah.
They try, and because they haven't fully grasped it or they haven't had the right mentoring or education to do it, they end up giving up. Oh, it doesn't work. It's rubbish. Let's move on. So that's the first type of people. The second type of people have tried it, have tried trading, have tried Amazon through some sort of platform. They've lost money. They probably were scammed. They were victims of fraud. Again, no, it doesn't work. They're all part of the same cloth. They're all doing the same thing. They're all scammers. And then so it has a bad name. Like trading and the word Forex has a bad name. It's been tarnished. It's been tarnished.
And that's kind of my next question, really. So why is it? Why do most people really end up losing on money on trading? I've read something, I don't know if it's true or not, please correct me if I'm wrong, but 80% of retail traders lose money. Why is that the case?
So I would say it's not even 80%.
More?
95% lose. Yeah.
Okay. Selling yourself very well there.
No, but you got to remember, right? If there are 5% who can successfully trade. There are 5% who can trade. There is 1% who can successfully trade. There's a difference. So you can trade, but can you be consistent and then live it as a lifestyle?
Full time,
Correct, right? So that's the 1%, but 5% can trade, and the 95% can't. And the biggest reason is not because of technical analysis or drawing pretty lines on a chart. It's not about how much money you have in the trading account, or how much money was given to you to start all this. It's not about this is the last resort, this is what I've got to do. Everything to do with trading is up. It's your mindset, right? It's your emotional discipline. Why? And I know we're going to talk about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency later on, but look at this. Recently, over the last 13 days, Bitcoin's had a major correction. A lot of people lost a lot of money. Why? Because let me tell you, at one point, everybody was in profit. The reason why people don't succeed at trading is greed, because they want more. So when you see profit on your phone and then you see more profit, you want more, you want more, you want more, and you want it here and now. Because of the here and now and the sheer desperation for income now, which is why many people can't succeed at this. It's an emotional game.
You kind of really have to rewire yourself differently, so to speak, and actually and distance yourself in a way. And quite personally, in speaking on Bitcoin, and like I said, we will get into this a little bit further, I didn't need any technical analysis or fundamental analysis to realize that I need to sell some of my holdings. It was a simple sign on a red bus saying, this is the time now to invest into Bitcoin. I'm thinking, right, well, if it's on there by now, surely it is too much euphoria, too much greed pumping up the market that I need to shed some of my holdings. Now, yes, it did go up a little bit more for another few weeks, but then look what happens. But anyways, we'll leave that for later. Now, my next question is, given it's the mindset, and yes, I completely agree. And it's not just with trading, it's with so many things. So with any area of business, so to speak, how given how successful you are, how do you control your emotions when you're up and when you're down? Because I think it's just as important when you're up to contain yourself and be realistic with what's going on as it is when you're losing. I think not having that emotional roller coaster as a person is really, really important, and it's something that I have with my Amazon FBA products as well. Something that I invest £5,000 and it's not making a sale for a week can be very, very depressing. But with time, with experience, you kind of learn to manage those emotions. How did you overcome that barrier?
I think in trading, you can never really overcome it. You can learn to manage and control it. I don't think you can really overcome it. Why? Because it's a natural motion. As humans, we have natural emotions. So the fear, the hope, the greed, this is all part of life, not just trading, life, right? You cross the road and you hope you get to the other side without cars coming to hit you, right? And it's just how it is in life. Now, earlier on, I was a mess, like everybody else. The roller coaster up and down. Why was I losing money? When you're making money, you're ecstatic. You think you are the dog's bollocks. You think you are the one. I thought I was creme de la creme trader back then. But what was that? 5 wins and that was it. And then all of a sudden you increase your risk and goodbye, you're back down to 0. So I had all of that. I think it comes with experience.
Yeah.
The longer you do it, the more you understand that losses are a part of the game, that you're never going to be successful unless you accept that you're going to make losses. Yes, your wins need to outweigh your losses, but you need to allow yourself to make losses because you can be wrong. No one's going to be right 100% of the time. So when you have that acceptance, you give things time. You have to mature as an individual, as an individual trying to learn a different skill, and then experience. The longer you do it, the more you understand.
And I think risk management to a certain degree as well is that as long as you understand the fundamentals and what you're getting into, again, I'm moving back to Amazon FBA. Instead of ordering 1,000 products, you can go with 200, 300. You're still learning the same thing, but you're reducing your risk and the reward. And with trading as well, the amount of money you put at stake, you're still learning the same wins and losses, so to speak. Yes, not to that degree, but you're getting the valuable experience that you should be using in the long term. And it's actually quite funny because everybody, you said it perfectly, everybody thinks that dog's bollocks when they actually get a few wins. You see all these Instagram stories, oh, look at me, easy money within 5 minutes and stuff. I have yet to see one person put up a story saying, hey guys, I just lost $1,000. Nah, happens. Nobody has ever said that. And I would shake their hand for actually being upfront about it. And this is probably the person that I would probably speak to in more detail about what's going on. But everybody thinks they can trade because it's so easy and so on. And I also think from an outsider's perspective, this is something that you will know far more about. But I think if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be a lawyer, if you want to be anything, you need to educate yourself for years, for 2, 3, 4, 5 years before actually starting to do it. However, when it comes to trading, it's as simple as buy and sell. It's click of a button and that's it. And because it's so easy, I think people think it's easy. And because they think it's easy, most of them lose money. I think a big portion of people just don't take it seriously enough. They think everyone can do it, so to speak. What do you think? Do you agree, or what are your thoughts?
It's because the concept and idea of trading comes across easy. It comes across easy, like what you said, buy and sell. But in reality, there's a lot more involved in it. And let's take it back to the percentages. If it was so easy, and you could just go onto Google and type in best trading strategy, enter, and copy the first person there. Now, honestly, Benas, wouldn't everyone be rich? Everyone be rich, right? But why can only 1% successfully trade and 5% trade? Why? Because it is that hard. Because it's an emotional game, not how pretty your lines are on a chart. It's how well you can control yourself, battle your own internal demons to then have that self-discipline.
And you know what? I've got to be honest. I appreciate the fact that you teach other people how to do it, but more importantly, you do it yourself. You're not focused on just teaching. You're doing it yourself. And I think it's important for students and anybody in any business to learn from somebody that's actually doing as opposed to just teaching. They're two very, very different things.
Absolutely.
How long do you think, and I know this is a kind of an odd question, but how long for example, did it take for you to fully grasp just the fundamentals of trading? I'm sure we're learning each and every single day and you're getting more and more knowledgeable as the time goes, but the fundamentals, how long did it take for you to learn?
I would say 3 years.
3 years, yeah. I wasn't expecting any less, to be honest. It's to really understand the different theories of what's going on. 3 years, not 3 weeks, not 3 days. It takes 3 years to do it properly. I was actually expecting something like that. And the last question, just on Forex alone, before we move into more interesting stuff, just crypto investing and so on. How can people get started trading on Forex? How do they get in touch with you?
Well, it's entirely up to you guys. So first and foremost, I'm not going to stand here and I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the best educator. Come to PFX. No. First and foremost, do your due diligence. Do your own research. There's a lot of people out there that claim that they are going to be able to teach you trading. 2 things you should ask every single person that you ever approach. Number 1, who have you made a full-time trader? Because if that's the ultimate goal for people, show me. Let's see full-time. I'm not talking about a Google image on a testimonial on a website. a physical, real person. Yeah. Who have you actually made a full-time trader? Question number 2, show me you can trade. Show me live, not a screenshot, not a pre-presented
demo
video.
Accounts.
Exactly. Show me you can actually trade. And that's the difference. If you can find someone who's able to do those two things, then you go with them. You part your money, but do your research. But for PFX guys, if you guys are genuinely serious, you want to learn about trading, investing, allowing your money to work for you, doing the least amount of work for the most amount of income, then hit www.pafxtrading.com and then get in touch with anyone on my team, and then we'll be able to look after you from there.
There you go. And it's actually just on that last point as well. With the student testimonial, something that obviously you don't do, but quite a few people do, to sell their courses, they actually pay random people to speak and give fake testimonials. And basically what I would say to people is that anybody that you really want to park your money with, do your due diligence properly.
Absolutely.
Not just because they speak interesting and not because they call your attention, really do your research into their company and so on before you actually put your hard-earned money. Because the last thing you want to do is, before you start trading, you lose money by giving some £1,000 to some schmuck that can't even do it themselves. So really, really do your due diligence, guys. Anyways, moving on. Kryptos. Big correction happened last week. Very, very interesting. So many news articles, so many people shouting, screaming, oh, I'm losing money, I'm going to have to sell my kidneys for it, and so to speak. Why did that happen? Well, I know you saw it coming. I saw your video, but why did it happen?
So first thing you got to remember, since January, 60% of people invested into cryptocurrency now are new. 60%. That's a lot of people that
4 months ago. Yep.
Yeah. So it's and so do you think in 4 months, somehow everyone's mastered cryptocurrency? They know what Bitcoin is. They know what Ethereum and smart contracts is. Do you really reckon everybody knows?
Obviously
they don't know. So why have they got into it? Because they've seen screenshots. They've seen adverts of people posting money. They've seen the Lamborghini lifestyle. Everybody wants a piece of the Lamborghini lifestyle. And if it's as easy as going onto a website, buying something, and then it turning 100%, of course, anybody would do it, right? But one thing you got to remember, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. The next thing, do you think something is natural when it goes up and then up and then up and then up and then up? Markets go up and down, up and down. And then so one of the reasons why I saw this coming was because it was unnatural gains. There was a lot of euphoria, a lot of people like, yes, Bitcoin. Everything you read. Listen, when your Auntie Margaret and your Uncle John start talking about it, that it's circulating. And now we want cryptocurrency and Bitcoin to have mass adoption. So you do want everyone to know about it. But the problem is people are knowing about it for the wrong reasons. They're knowing about it because it's a get rich quick type of play, not because it's the future of technology and blockchain technology, right? And that's what it was. And so when people start to really jump the gun and get involved, that's alarm bells. And this thing it took, how long did it take? A decade for this thing to get, just under a decade to get to 20,000. All of a sudden in 6 months, it's gone from 20,000 to 65,000. Phenomenal run, right? And it was never going to last. Because people have to understand that markets will go up, markets will go down. And along the way, if you're in profit, the smart thing to do is to keep taking profits. The worst thing you can do is succumb to greed, hold it stubbornly because you want more. This is your way out. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. This is what's going to make me get that Lamborghini, Benas. And then
back to Hyundai. No, absolutely. I couldn't agree more, to be completely honest. Greed is evil to some degree if they can't manage it, to be honest. And I've heard quite a lot of really sad stories of people actually going in debt to invest into Bitcoin. And just to show how ridiculous this whole system is at this moment in time, look at Dogecoin, something that started off as a meme completely, went up to, what was it, 50, 60 trillion market cap. There are legitimate companies that are making money each and every single day that can't reach that market cap. Yet here, something that has been ballooned up by the great Elon Musk, so to speak. Everybody is rushing into it. So everything I think people need to do is just look at it from a bit more skeptical point of view. Make your own decisions as opposed to just following somebody else's footsteps and then putting your hard-earned money into it as well. Yes, please.
Something that you said just there. We spoke about due diligence, right?
Yes.
Before parting your money with any type of educational platform. Now, Elon Musk came out and he tweeted this. He tweeted Dogecoin. He put the picture with that fox type animal, and he started doing all of this, right? Yep. And then people jumped the gun. People were like, my God, Doge to the moon.
Yeah.
But Elon Musk went and bought 1.5 billion Bitcoin.
Yep.
Not Doge.
Yeah.
So if the man who was posting pictures of Doge didn't even put his money in Doge, what does that tell you? That tells you, so Dogecoin was only ramped up by hype and hype alone, not actual investors like Elon putting into that. Now, obviously, he put 1.5 billion into Tesla to obviously for his balance sheet, but him as a person didn't buy it. His company bought it.
Yeah.
Right.
And sold them already. Yep. No, absolutely. And you're very, very correct. But what I find quite worrying is because of all of these new apps that are basically allowing you to trade pretty much low commissions or for free completely, is bringing in so many new retail traders with no experience whatsoever that want to double or triple their money tomorrow, next week, and so on. So they're looking for these meme investments. They don't care about the fundamentals. They don't care about the technical analysis and so on. They just care, is it going to go up double tomorrow, so to speak? So that's why things such as Dogecoin and now various other altcoins that are popping out of nowhere completely and tripling, quadrupling in price, it's really, really risky. And I think people really need to be careful getting caught up into all of that. I personally always recommend do your fundamental analysis first, try to get as much information as possible, invest into it, drip feed your money into it, and then kind of work your way around getting more and more information and stay in the long term, so to speak. And you're not going to make money just by jumping in and out, so to speak, all the time. Now, second question. I know that in the long term, your view is Bitcoin is going to be to around $100,000, if not past that. Why?
So when you're looking at the actual fundamentals of what Bitcoin can do, it can solve a lot of problems. Now, Bitcoin has flaws, right? So in my opinion, it won't remain the kingpin. But at the minute it is. And it's just like, for example, if I were to look at currency trading, dollar index is the kingpin there. Whatever the dollar index does, it influences the rest of the market. Whatever S&P 500 does, it influences the rest of the stocks. Whatever Bitcoin does, influences the rest of the altcoins. Just happens, natural, right? We have seen this bull run. Now we are yet to decide whether this bull run has ended at 65,000 or it's just halfway before a continuation. But so far, we've had institutional investment into Bitcoin. And for the first time, we've had a lot of the big players, a lot of the institutions say, you know what, we want to put money into Bitcoin. Now, people have to understand it's not them as a company buying that Bitcoin. They have clients. It's their clients' request that we would like Bitcoin investments. And so as a company, they then take an investment and so on. So they are involved in, or they were involved in Bitcoin. Hence, you saw the huge daily candles appearing where the large investments were happening. So it was, for me, the start of something that's going to grow. And we have been talking about institutional investment for 5 years now? And finally, it happened. So it goes to show that within time, my puppy's meal prep. Prepare my puppy, But listen, before the call, Benas, I've got it prepared. So we waited 5 years for institutional investment. So it takes time. Now we've had institutional money come in and we've had it come out. Hence why the correction right now. What we need is the reputation to build again. Now, because of this 55% drop from all-time highs, a lot of institutions, a lot of people are now skeptical. Oh, look, this is quite volatile, so maybe we shouldn't put our money into it. So we now need to rebuild again. We need to do this whole rebuilding process, and I do believe more investments are going to be made when you've got people like Michael Saylor who are literally flying the flag for Bitcoin and got so many other businesses involved in it. I think it's only going to be positive. The Winklevoss brothers as well, they're very much advocates for Bitcoin. So I think that we will no doubt if this is the end of this bull run, then maybe we'll see 100,000 in a few years. But if not, then more than likely we'll probably see 100,000 at some point this year.
This year?
This year, I would say.
Wow.
If this is if this current correction is only something that needs to happen to flush out a lot of high leverage traders, because remember, the market needs to make money. The markets are not designed to give you money; they're designed to take money, right? So this is to flush out leverage traders, to get rid of all weak hands, and then this could be the breathing space it needs before continuation. So wait and see. I think over the next few weeks we're going to get a better idea. Yeah,
there's so much FUD fear, uncertainty, and doubt going on at the moment that there's just too many paper hands need to go, so to speak, before the next bull run. I personally think, from what I see, and I'm nowhere near as experienced as you, I see a pullback all the way up to probably about 25 to 20, and then the next, hopefully a more gradual continuation up to 100,000 as opposed to a skyrocket once again, because that again is very, very worrying. But who knows? One more question as well, because we've touched on him already a little bit. What's your opinion of Elon Musk? Is he like a net positive for crypto or not net negative? Because he does bring a lot of awareness to this new piece of technology, but at the same time, saying Dogecoin is amazing, but also an SNL saying that it's a hustle is conflicting, and it makes people very nervous and lose quite a lot of money as well. What's your opinion of him?
Do you know what? So Elon Musk, he's a genius. He's a genius. You can't. So there's a lot of backlash that he's receiving at the minute. What people have got to realize, he is where he is because this man knows what he's doing, right? I don't think Elon has made the best example of himself during this whole Dogecoin situation, SNL situation. He could have handled himself a little better. I think maybe some of his friends or advisors should have kind of told him, gave him a little bit of a nudge. Probably don't say that. Probably don't do that. But he has. But what he has done, because of Elon Musk, that one man, how much awareness to cryptocurrency has he brought? He's got a lot of fans, a lot of people who are involved in space science and this type of technology, so that they now know about cryptocurrency via him, right? So in one way, he is pro, because he is anti-fiat. He's anti-fiat, so it would have to make him pro-crypto. But pro-Bitcoin is a different topic, because he now understands that when you're talking about renewable energy, when you're talking about things that are good for the environment and planet, he believes Bitcoin is not the answer. Then that's quite hypocritical to say, because he's comparing Bitcoin to what he does with aerospace, and then to have things what he's doing, you need a lot of energy. So it doesn't really make sense. But I think he's pro.
I personally think he's pro for cryptocurrencies, but not necessarily Bitcoin. I think he sees a lot of flaws in the technology at the moment, which is why he said he's working with quite a few developers and stuff to actually make it better before the mass adoption. And I also think it was pro as well, because even though he sold off some of his holdings of Bitcoin, well, Tesla sold off some of their holdings of Bitcoin, they were the first major public company to actually buy into Bitcoin. And that did make quite a few shakes, and various other companies are now starting to look into that as well. So just bringing that awareness. And at the end of the day, if only, half the S&P 500, if only a portion of their cash reserves are now all of a sudden transferred to Bitcoin over the next year or two, Bitcoin price is going to go through the roof. But people need to know that, and people need to know that this will take time and a bit more about it, as opposed to just, hey, it's a coin that people are buying right now, it's supposed to go up, let's jump onto it, so to speak. And that's what I'm really, really worried about. But anyways, now let's move on to a bit more investing and stuff. Now, what you teach to your students, obviously, is technical analysis. Now, first of all, do you teach fundamental analysis as well, or is it just the tech side?
Fundamentals as well. Okay. Basically, everything that you can think of, we teach.
And how does your technical analysis help you find entry points and sell points for long-term investments? Because that's personally what I do. I invest into companies more so than cryptos. And I would love to actually find out a little bit more about how the technical analysis, how do they tell you the price points? Okay, this is when I should be buying because it should be changing course. And then the potential sell target, so you have some sort of target, as opposed to letting greed follow you up and up and up, so to speak, until something bad happens.
Best answer. Let me call one of my team. Let's get you on PFX. Let's get you. So so one of the methods that we do when it comes to investing is that I've worked out a way that using arithmetic and using Excel and some mathematics, we're able to pre-forecast what a company is going to perform quite some time before they actually do it. So that, number one, gives us an edge. But we use past data and we use their past figures to understand. We look deep into their financials to see their debts, to see what is happening, what are their outgoings versus all their incomings, their revenues, how much cash reserves they have. So there's a lot to do in terms of financials. From a technical aspect, we use many of the different elements which I teach, i.e. Elliott wave, technicals advanced to map out waves and map out entry points. And then if for example this company is expected to perform 20% this year, and their end of fiscal year is, let's say, is December. So January will be the start of their new year. And if by February they've already performed 20%, you'd avoid that company. They've done what they said they were going to do. Move on to the next one. And then so there's loads of different elements that we do look at to then make an idea of, we believe that this is the right company to invest in.
Okay. And you as an investor and a trader as well, what portion of your portfolio do you keep in cash and what portion of your portfolio do you effectively play with, so to speak? Are you a bit more reserved or you're quite ballsy, so to speak?
So a bit of both, I like a bit of risk. And when the time needs to be, I'll also be risk averse, right? If there's a crash. So I would keep about 30% of my portfolio in cash. And some people would say, Priyash, that's quite a lot. You're holding quite a lot in cash. Why? Now, when Bitcoin crashed, very rapidly, a lot of people are now scrambling to find money to try and buy, to invest at cheaper prices, right? I've got that already reserved. So I keep cash reserves in case there is some sort of crash or some sort of correction in which I can capitalize from.
Understood. Okay, no, understood. And I also think it depends. I mean, for each person is different. The size of the portfolio matters as well. 30% for one person can be a couple of million. For others, it can be a couple of £100. It's very, very different. So, but take that with a grain of salt, so to speak. What is your opinion of what happened? And this, I find this fantastic, with GameStop and AMC and the short squeeze that happened. And please explain to that, because a lot of people probably don't even know what we're talking about, what it is, and what's your opinion of it?
So one thing, a lot of people think, because of the media told everyone that it was a short squeeze. In fact, it's actually called a gamma squeeze, which is something totally different. Now, to get into gamma and talk about that, we need a whole couple of hours. It's a totally different concept of what happened. And then you've got people like Jordan Belf. You've got people like Jordan, and you've got the Reddit readers who all were pushing for this institutional or other institution, Wall Street bets, correct? To ideally liquidate an institution, right? But the problem is, how did they know that this stock was going to rally? How did Jordan know? How did Jordan know that they were going to rally?
Can they not tell that there were too many shares shorted? Well, there was far more shares shorted than actually how many shares were outstanding by 140% or something.
Yes, but it was also to do with cash. So GameStop is for those of you in the UK, Game, like the normal company Game, right? And with Game, everyone saw the decline of Game, so everybody expected the same thing to happen to GameStop. But now you've got to remember, before a company gets liquidated, when a company is liquidated, they've got nothing. They're finished, kaput, game over, right? GME had cash, and a lot of cash. Now, when you look at their debt, everybody, all institutions believed that they were going to be liquidated. But actually, they had enough cash to pay off their debt. That is a good thing. You want to be able to pay off your debt like that. So people like Jordan, people like the Reddit users had realized actually they were fine. So actually they were going to take a turn and they were going to pump. And then it was an idea that formulated between the group, and then all of a sudden everyone just bought. And what happened, for example, if you're shorting something, you'll have a sell wall here. But price is here. You're not selling it yet. You're only going to sell it if it hits a certain area, right? So what happened was price was rallying up. It hit the sell wall. The sales triggered, but then they themselves pushed it, and that's what nearly liquidated that company. It was phenomenal to see, and a lot of bailout happened.
I find it interesting how all of a sudden Robinhood, one of the biggest trading platforms, just happened to not allow you to buy, but you're more than happy to sell GameStop. It just goes to show how much shadiness and how much backhanded deals are going on there at the moment. And I'm actually surprised that they are still around. I thought they would be buried in liquid in lawsuits and various other things that they will have to go out of business quite soon. Who knows? But yeah, that
Finance.
was very, very interesting.
They themselves, Robinhood, they made a few big mistakes. And
Oh,
actually, we may not see that they might be, and they might still be around, still doing well. But let me tell you, they were damaged. They were due to launch on the stock market. They had an IPO ready. Everything was about to go. They were for the people, they said,
yeah.
for the people. Yeah.
It
And
was
then
a launch
they
in
had,
FBA happening as well. Yeah, yeah,
yes. And so all of this happened. It's ruined them.
yeah,
Now their reputation has been tarnished. And
yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, there's so many memes saying robbing the hood and giving it to the rich.
Yes.
Welcome. But yeah, no, that's interesting, and we'll see what happens there. What's your also opinion with, because I follow the U.S. economy quite a lot, given investing into S&P 500. What's your opinion of Jay Powell, the Fed chairman, effectively printing, I believe, 25% of all money in circulation in the last year to basically
Yes.
flush out the damage by the coronavirus? What's your opinion on that in the long term? Inflation, massive inflation, or
So you got to remember. So Jerome Powell himself. Again, I'm a very big fan of Jerome Powell. I'm a very big fan of how he composes himself, how
yes,
he
yeah,
replies, how he handles himself
yeah,
in front of the world. I'm a very big fan, and it's not actually him. He is obviously commanded. Yeah, he's
yeah,
commanded. In his clause of contract, there is only one person in the world that can fire him. That is the president of America.
yeah,
So who do you think is the person giving him orders? Yeah.
yeah.
Now, when Donald Trump was in power, everybody witnessed that there was a conflict between Jerome Powell and Donald Trump. People didn't actually know that they were working together. And it was
Shouldn't
Donald
the
Trump.
institutions be, sorry to interrupt, shouldn't the institutions be completely separate? Shouldn't the Fed chairman be on their own, so to speak? It's like a separate institution, therefore they don't have to actually answer to anybody and make decisions.
Of course, you would think that in hindsight. You would be
Right.
like, yeah, that's what it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But do you think the most powerful man in the world, which will be the president of America,
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
allow
Yeah.
anyone to make decisions to do with money for their country? No way. You
Okay.
know? There's always going to be a little nudge. You know what, Mr. Powell, you're going to do this, my friend. You're
Yeah.
going to do this. And so when coronavirus happened and then the stock market had that V-shaped recovery
Yeah.
that just went crazy long for so long, over a year of just gains, it was, yep, print money. And you're spot on. 25% of all US dollars in circulation were printed,
Yeah.
since coronavirus, which is crazy to think. Yeah, 25% in 1 year,
Yeah.
which is phenomenal. And so it was being printed. Now, let's fast forward now to Biden. Everybody thought President Biden, he's going to be the goody two shoes. He's going to come, he's going to sort everything out.
Yeah.
He was asked, so Mr. Powell asked him, what shall I do? He said, keep it running. And on the last FOMC press conferences that happened, actually, Jerome Powell, for the first time, he stuttered, he stumbled, because the questions finally came to him.
Yeah.
When are you going to turn the money printer off? Where all these artificial gains come from? So 2 times. So people are onto them now, Artificial gains, Ben, that's artificial gains.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. That's why a lot of people are actually avoiding cash, and for one of the reasons, investing in property, in assets, in Bitcoin, whatever, to kind of get rid of this cheap money, so to speak. But I think it will bite us back in some one way or the other with increased taxes, increased regulation, and so on. I mean, Biden already spoke about corporation tax going up, I think, to 29% and so, and obviously UK is going to follow, and so on and so forth. So people that made all the gains and the people that have been on furlough and then making money by sitting at home, in my opinion, you will be paying back in one way or the other sooner rather than later. And then last question for the day, what's your opinion for the future? Do you see a quite bright future, or is it quite worrying?
I think it depends on what market you're looking at. If
Yeah.
you were to ask me this question about 8 months ago, Forex and currency trading was at the forefront.
Mhm.
About a year and a half ago, the stock market was at the forefront. Now, Bitcoin is at the forefront,
Yeah.
right? And so it's money rotation. So money gets taken out one place, gets put in another, taken out one place, gets put in another. And so all we need to do is figure out where the money is going to be taken out from now and put. So at the minute you see gold and commodities rallying, doing really well because that money was taken out of Bitcoin. Hence why you see the further collapse. So money gets taken from there, gets put in there. Yeah. Now wait and see what happens and where money gets put to next. Is it going to be the S&P? Is it going to be is the primary focus going to be back on Forex and currency? We don't know. But I think everything's going to be fine. Everything is as is because there's always money rotation. So as long as you can adapt, you'll be able to profit.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. I really hope you found it useful. Any last words at all, Shrikey, before we wrap it up? Stay safe. Don't risk everything. Be due diligent.
Don't risk it for a chocolate biscuit. Yeah, you know. Absolutely. And so yeah, guys, stay safe. Thank you for listening, Benas. Thank you so much for having me on. This was great.
And just to remind you guys, if you do want to subscribe, please check out Shrikey's channel, subscribe to it, and have a think if you want to potentially go into Forex trading as opposed to Amazon FBA, given it's not for everybody. That being said, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.